Joining me now to discuss all of this and so much more, Caitlin Huey-Burns, political reporter for Real Clear Politics. So, Caitlin, first to what we've now just learned in this document dump from the FBI's investigation into Hillary Clinton. Mm-hmm. It does seem to be something short of a smoking gun. If nothing else, that if you're a supporter of Hillary Clinton, you may just see a politician being political. If you are not a supporter of Hillary Clinton, this is just further evidence of nefarious wrongdoing.
Yeah, I don't think there's a big, huge bombshell in these. And if anything, it gives a very interesting window into how campaigns operate, how politics goes on behind the scenes. And to a lot of detractors of Hillary Clinton or those who oppose her, that's something that they don't like about her, right? That she is part of this political establishment and machine and all of that. I think when you're looking at the political effects of this, Hillary Clinton is facing the prospect of being able to broaden her map. I mean, go to states that haven't been competitive for Democrats before. She's looking at a lead in the polls nationally and in key battlegrounds, and she needs people to come out and vote for her. So the challenge for her with all of this is whether this depresses turnout for her in any way, or, you know, those who know that they're not going to support Trump, whether they feel inclined to support her when they see these emails and kind of everything attached to it.
That might really be a key point of strategy for the Trump campaign at this point. But as Donald Trump himself now calls into question the very legitimacy of the American electoral process, is there a danger for the GOP that will depress turnout for Trump supporters, many of whom he has proudly said haven't been a part of this process before and may not be so inclined now to join the process for the first time? Right.
It could have a really interesting backfiring effect on Trump. I mean, he's been talking about how enthusiastic his base of supporters are. If he's out telling them falsely that these elections are rigged, he's been tweeting that the polls are wrong, that things are going on in polling stations, which we know is not true. There have been various reports that show that while there are cases of voter fraud, it is not the large scale that he is talking about. And a lot of Republicans, quite frankly, have reason to be concerned about this kind of messaging coming from a major party nominee. They are looking at trouble down ballot here. And what you have is Trump lashing out against people like Paul Ryan and Republican leaders and basically telling supporters in a way, vote for me, but don't necessarily vote for everybody else in the Republican establishment. And that's really troubling because a lot of these Republicans are depending on Donald Trump to bring out his voter base in favor of them as well. So you're looking at a lot of different implications here that are all signs of trouble for
and obviously could tip congressional majorities so that a Republican president in Donald Trump is not working with a GOP Congress. Is Donald Trump still running for president?
It's a great question, and I've argued that if you look at his strategy and his approach, this is not the strategy and approach for a presidential campaign, insofar as he is not expanding or interested or showing any signs of being interested in expanding his support. Going after the media to the extent that he is a primary strategy in Republican primaries, not a winning strategy for presidential campaigns. We talked a lot during the primaries of how unconventional his campaign was, of course, and you know, it defied expectations in a successful way. Those are the primaries, and we saw that he did well in the polls then, and he won primaries. Right now, if we're looking at the data that we have in polling, this is not a winning strategy. He's behind nationally and in key battleground states. He has not been able to break 40% if you look at the aggregate of polls. And so all the information we have right now, it looks as though he is not waging a real presidential campaign. And also there are reports today, of course, of this media venture that many have been expecting him to launch after the campaign. So if you look at what he's been saying over the past 2 weeks, looking for kind of excuses as to how he would spin a loss compared to what he's doing to win.
Because I mean, it certainly, as you mentioned, has not felt like anything remotely comparable to a conventional presidential campaign. However, it has certainly been a publicity campaign, and it would certainly stand to reason if a venture perhaps was in the offing that attacking his competitors rather than just mainstream media, if you will, would be a sound business plan at this point. He essentially has 22 more days on the biggest stage of them all. Does it? It seems to line up more. It seems to fall more in line with that idea.
And when you look at how Trump operates and the message that he's been putting out, you know, he has not promoted over the past year a message of losing, right? And so he's looking for ways to explain how a loss would happen and how he could kind of survive that, how his brand could survive that.
Douglas Brinkley, though, a presidential historian, has said he's never heard something like this from a major party candidate since 1860. We know what happened next. We've heard now reports of attendees at Trump campaign functions with Donald Trump, Mike Pence, calling for revolution in meet and greet scenarios. Look, we know what happened in 1860. How concerned should we be about what's going to happen in 2016?
This is going into very dangerous territory. You have a major party nominee directly undermining the democratic process. Our tradition is a peaceful transfer of power. We were talking earlier about someone at a Mike Pence town hall saying that this person wanted to start a revolution if Hillary Clinton was elected, and kind of, you know, there was nothing that Pence could say to deter her from that thought.
And if you see, she didn't seem to be speaking metaphorically either. I mean, she knew what she was saying.
It's a very dangerous time, and I think when you have Donald Trump actively promoting this kind of thing, you have lots of reason to be concerned about what happens after November 8th, and I think that's what people are starting to try to figure out right now.
And we will continue to try to figure it out for 22 more days at the very least. Caitlin Huey Burns, as always, we appreciate it.
Thank you.